Public Media Funding Ending. Read to you by Carol Brigham. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB, is a nonprofit organization that gets money from Congress. CPB gives out that money to over 1,500 public radio and television stations across the U.S. Earlier this summer, Congress voted to take away over $1 billion from CPB for 2026 and 2027. On Friday, August 1, Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB officials announced that the corporation cannot continue without this money. It will have to close, and 100 CPB employees will lose their jobs. A small group of people will keep working at CPB after September 30 to help the public radio and television stations until January 2026. Commercial media versus public media. Forms of media are all around us. TV shows, radio shows, podcasts, and YouTube videos are all media. Newspapers, magazines, and online news channels are also media. Some forms of media are owned by companies. These are called commercial media. The companies decide what programs they show on their channels. They decide what message their programs teach. Other forms of media are public. Public radio and television stations are not owned by big companies. They are owned by independent people or groups. Public radio and TV stations get money to run their programs from listeners and viewers. The stations have fundraisers and ask for donations. They get some of their money from local, state, and federal governments. The goal of public media is to teach and inform the community. Stations do this through educational programs, cultural programs, news, and weather. Many people trust public media. They believe public media tells the truth and is unbiased. Some people disagree. They think public media is biased. They do not want their federal tax money to support public media. How the Corporation for Public Broadcasting started. In the 1960s, people in the U.S. wanted better educational shows on TV. The public stations did not have as much money as the commercial stations. Most educational shows were not as exciting as commercial shows. Fewer people watched educational shows. Congress decided to act. Lawmakers spent months discussing a bill to improve public television. During their discussions, they talked to experts. They decided to include radio in the bill, too. They called the bill the Public Broadcasting Act of 1967. On November 7, 1967, President Johnson signed the Public Broadcasting Act of 1967. He said the new law would show the world that the U.S. valued education. He said Americans would find new wealth in educational programs. The new law had three main parts. The first part discussed the budget for new educational programs. It said how much the programs would cost. It also said how much money went to public stations in each state and how the stations could use the money. The second part created the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The corporation's job was to help public stations make better educational TV and radio programs. The programs could not be biased. They needed to show balanced opinions. The second part also said that the CPB could not be involved in politics. It could not support any political candidates or any political party. In the third part, Congress wanted to make sure the Corporation for Public Broadcasting worked. The bill included money for a government study. The study would show how to make educational programs better. PBS and NPR. PBS is the Public Broadcasting Service. It was started in 1969. It is a nonprofit television station. It helps connect public television stations across the U.S. with programs. Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, PBS News, and Masterpiece Theater are some of PBS's shows. NPR is National Public Radio. It started in 1970. It is a nonprofit radio station. NPR produces its own content. Public radio stations across the U.S. play the content that NPR produces. Morning Edition, All Things Considered, Weekend Edition, and Fresh Air are some of NPR's shows. PBS and NPR get some money from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting budget. However, 70% of the budget goes to the local stations that work with PBS and NPR. The CPB budget cuts will hurt these local stations the most. Emergency alerts. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting has a grant program to help local stations maintain their equipment. When disasters happen in the U.S., alerts are sent out through cell phones, local television stations, and radio stations. Some alerts are also sent out over local news websites. These alerts tell people when there is danger. They also tell people when and where to go during the disaster. In rural areas, cell phones are not always reliable. There may also be problems with the internet. People in these areas rely on the radio and TV to keep them safe. Many of the stations in these areas have old equipment. The equipment needs to be fixed or replaced. The CPB gets funds from FEMA to help repair and replace emergency broadcasting equipment. People are afraid that the grant money will be cut when the CPB closes. It may be harder for stations to warn people about disasters. People may not be as prepared, and they may be less safe. The future. Without federal funding, public television and radio will need to find other ways to raise money. Some station managers are worried. They don't know if they can raise enough money. These stations may have to close. Other station managers are hopeful. They are getting more donations from viewers and listeners. They hope this is not the end of public television and radio. They hope it is a new start. For more information about Easy English News, to subscribe to our digital version or our paper copies, visit our website, easyenglishnews.com. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel for more. Thank you.